Welcome to this week's episode of EThekwini Matters. My name is Masemola and I'm your host. EThekwini is poised for massive economic growth from several catalytic projects that are underway and progressing well. They are earmarked to boost economic growth by contributing to the city's rate space, transforming the local spatial footprint, creating a number of employment and business opportunities, and boosting the township and rural economy. Today in studio, we are joined by Nasreen, Arabi, and Themba Masemola, and Nasreen is the acting head of Catalytic Project, and Themba is the senior program manager for Catalytic Project. Welcome to EThekwini Matters.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome, Themba.
Thank you for having me.
Nasreen, let's start with you. Firstly, what are catalytic projects?
Okay, so catalytic projects are generally large-scale spatial transformation projects, and they're selected for their large impact on development. So generally, they have large impact in terms of job creation, bringing revenue into the city, and bringing more investment into the city, in EThekwini especially.
Can you tell us more about the work of the Catalytic Projects unit? What does your unit do?
All right. So we generally help developers. Catalytic projects are not only for developers, they're also projects within the municipality for the city. But they generally projects that developers bring to us, and we help with the facilitation of these projects. In terms of building plan approval and land approvals, all of this through our requirements and helping them with that facilitation. We interact with all of the various land departments in terms of any blockages, any board-ups with the planning approvals, so that we can fast-track these developments, because they're quite important in terms of investment and getting these projects going as fast as possible. We also assist with a blend of financing for these developments, where the city and the developer share the cost for bulk infrastructure or for the projects. It's because they're generally located in outlying areas where there's spatial transformation required, as well as along township areas and along the main national roads. So there's generally these areas that do not have infrastructure, that the city assists developers in transforming these projects and bringing in bulk infrastructure so that development can happen and boost the economy and investment in the outlying areas, as well as within the city. So we at Catalytic Projects facilitate these conversations in terms of getting financing, dealing with the various spheres of government to fast track these projects and unblock anything that's holding up development, so that we can boost the economy, create more jobs, increase investment, and raise revenue into the city.
How many catalytic projects do we have in the city?
So at the moment, we currently have approximately 20 catalytic projects, and they vary in terms of scale, and they're all in various regions within the city. So in the northern region, we have projects within Dubai Trade Port, the Oceans and Shlanga is one of the catalytic projects. We have the Sibaya precinct that's being developed, and as well as the Old North Coast Road and Brickworks project in the Avoca Node area. So there's quite a few happening up in the north. And then in the western regions, we have the EThekwini West Town development. We have the Giba project that's also, in progress at the moment. And there's quite a few other investors coming in interested in developing projects along the N3 going up towards Cato Ridge. And then the central has various inner city projects that we're working on as well. And we're trying to encourage investment moving down towards the south. So at the moment, we have 20 projects, as I mentioned, looking at an investment of approximately 227 billion. Currently, with projects going up to 2040. And these projects are all at various stages in the life cycle of a project. So some at very early planning stages, some are at implementation, and some are almost complete in terms of construction. So that's currently what they have. So catalytic projects play quite an important role in the city in terms of bringing in economic investment into the city, because we bring in more of the bigger investment that they'll catalyze the smaller projects around these big catalytic projects. So we play quite an important role in terms of revenue growth within the city, as well as job creation during construction, as well as after construction in terms of permanent jobs.
Now let's talk about the West Town Square. It's one of the current projects that we opened recently. Themba, mhlambe tell us about this project. Why is it important to the people of EThekwini?
Western development is one of the city's catalytic projects in the West. And this is one of the biggest developments that the city has seen in the past 20 odd years, because we are talking about 2 hectares of developed land, which is anchored by the shopping center or the West Town Square. And then it will be surrounded by logistics, business park, and residential. With this, we're trying to create the live, work, play kind of situation. We don't want people to be traveling to workplace and thereby increasing traffic on the roads and also increasing accidents. So with this development, we're trying to obviously transform, as the acting head was talking about, transforming our landscape, ensuring that the haves and the have-nots are actually linked together. If you look at West Town now, it sits in between the low-income areas of Chelimnyama, which is Ward 15. You look at areas of Wandengezi, which is Ward 14. Look at areas of Cliffdale, which is Ward 103, and Shomweni, which is Ward 7. So what we're doing then, we're linking those communities in the south with the communities in the upper highway of Darkres, Asekai, and Botasil, to ensure that there is that synergy. So with this, we are knitting our communities to ensure that we integrate it with opportunities that would benefit both parties. So we are saying that this development would be one of those development that looks like your Midrand in Gauteng, which is between your city of Johannesburg and city of Tshwane. So we're hoping that in the future there won't be any space between Durban and Maritzburg. There will be just development that will be hugging the N3 and will ensuring that there's just seamless development between the 2 cities.
Why Shongweni or Alta West specifically?
If you consider the city of EThekwini, we are actually anchored by the port of Durban, which is always the busiest port in Africa. And we want to ensure that we maximize the opportunities which are happening at the port, the opportunities that are coming on in Shongweni are also now taking shape in that they will maximize the inefficiencies that are in the port. Most of the logistics that is planned around the N3 is planned to ensure that we decongest areas in the port, as you will see with some of the development that will be hugging the N3. So West Town then is that opportunity that there's never been development in the West, and this is just one opportunity to create jobs for the Western regions and ensure that we transform these communities and ensure that we promote growth. And also what is key for the city is bringing in properties that would be paying rates in our city, as the acting head has spoken about. So our ethos is ensuring that we grow our rate space, create those jobs, and still ensure that we transform our communities and ensure that there is that transformation and linkages in terms of developments in all the regions in the city.
We are talking about linkages in terms of development in the city. How has West Town included various stakeholders?
This development started 15 years ago. It gave the city an opportunity to do a lot of social kind of participation. We were able to go to communities, hold meetings in terms of presenting the project and the opportunities that this project will provide for them. And they also made inputs on how the project should actually uplift their communities. So if you look at that area has got a traditional council, Yasemangangeni, and you've got the traditional council, Izinduna, comprises Izinduna, and we've got the ward councillors of Ward 7 and Ward 103, and you've got the taxi association. So with all that, we were then able to bring these communities together. We've got a steering committee that comprises all these organizations, and we've also included people living with disability. So this then created that opportunity to ensure that we actually transform the community and benefit more people within this region. And we are hoping this project will set the tone on how we go forward implementing these catalytic projects with a view of benefiting a lot of people. And also, Stefanuti had a training center. That training center has been able to train plumbers, electricians, and bricklayers. And most of these people have been used within the development of West Town Square, as you would see in the area, and also some of them have been used especially around the paving of the Kessia Road that is currently happening on site.
What can people look forward to in regards to West Town?
I think West Town is one of those developments that in the city, in terms of scale, we are hoping that the benefits that the city has done in terms of, number one, contributing to the infrastructure, which then forges the partnership between your private sector, which is the developers on one hand, and the public sector, which is the government on the other hand. So the government, meaning EThekwini, has been able to implement and also invest like 600 million in the upgrade of Kessia Road, which is one of those investments that we feel as a city is money that is well spent, because it's adding more and is attracting more investment in the area. To talk about this area, we've got the shopping center. The shopping center is about 1.3 billion worth of investment. And currently we're talking about 1,200 people that are currently employed on site. And we know that going forward, the mall will actually employ a lot of people from these two wards. And for us, again, Baldwin has actually come to the party. They're investing like 1.6 billion in residential development, which is also adding value to what we're talking about, which is the live, work, and play. Going forward, there will be social facilities that will be happening in the area, and we are hoping that this will also add this to this urban form that we want to see in our society, and we will ensure that going forward we use similar types of model to ensure that we empower communities fully so that they participate in the development and the upgrade, the economic upliftment of their areas.
Would you like to add anything else?
Just to add a few things about this development, I think as a city, we are showcasing how the private sector and the private sector works, and going forward, we will use this as one of the smart cities in Durban. With the smart city, we are trying to integrate your technology within the implementation of services. So, and also when there are faults within the system, for example, if there is a leakage, a water leakage, it will also, we are saying there has to be a system that is able to detect those faults, and without creating references, the smart city approach, which will have its own entity that will be looking at this infrastructure. They'll go there, service the infrastructure without any glitches. Even if there are buses that are coming to the area, people must look at their smartphones. It must tell them where the next bus is coming, which shops have got sales or whatever. Anything that will actually uplift the community. We're hoping that this actually smart city approach will enhance the way we manage our suburbs and ensure that we not waste water, like is currently waiting, in that we don't have technology that can detect most of the faults that are happening within our systems. Just to say, within the shopping center, we are lucky in that if you look at the developers, they've gone beyond what we expected. There is a trust that has been set in Shongweni within Amanganga community. This trust will actually be created to ensure that there is money pumped in there, money that will be used then to build crashes and any other facilities that the community will need, and meaning that Inkosi will sit on that and look at those applications that will be coming from a community to ensure that we uplift the communities. So with all that, we are hoping that other developers within our city must also invest in creating these trusts, which must be aimed at ensuring that we uplift our communities, either be it a crash or a clinic, any kind of development within those areas, which we feel that will bring development which is really integrated, which is really transformative to our urban spaces.
Thank you very much, Themba, for your time. Would you like to say anything else?
Yes, I just want to add to say that the integrating West Town development is really one of the catalytic projects that the city is doing, that's showcasing how both the city and private sector can come together to put such an amazing project together. That the city contributed approximately 600 million towards the bulk infrastructure and the road infrastructure. So it's not just about the West Town development alone, the communities that surround it, the road network, the bulk infrastructure network, all of that is improving in an area that used to have nothing. So that's what Catalytic Projects is about, where we improve not just private development, but the communities around it, and we start expanding in terms of the city's raised revenue as well. And Catalytic Projects, generally sit above 500 million for them to be categorized as Catalytic Projects. And we have quite a few investments coming in, investors interested in these big projects for the city, which is quite a something to look forward to in the future in terms of the city growth and city's success.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for coming through. That was Nasreen, Arabi, and Themba Masemola. Nasreen. Okay.
Okay, take it again.
That was Nasreen, Arabi, and Themba Masemola. And Nasreen is the acting head of Catalytic Projects, and Themba is the senior program manager for Catalytic Projects. They were speaking to us about West Town and Catalytic Projects. My name is Zimbili Mazibubo, your host. And for myself and the entire team, it's goodbye. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share.